Hi, and welcome to your episode of Aerospace News with me, Christophe Paget. This week, Axiom is progressing with his space station. ULA is preparing for his maiden flight, whilst Starbase also preparing but for his third flight tests. iSpace has been hopping and providing a glimpse of their future ambitions. And we will complete the episode, as always, with the launches of the week. Axiom has not only the ambition to send astronauts to the ISS, but also to build a space station for private and governmental purposes. And what you see on your screen is the future by Axiom to replace the aging ISS. This week, the first module, HAB-1, of Axiom's space station is progressing, and the picture is shared to the public. You could see three technicians at Thales Alenia Space mounting a barrel section of Axiom's station HAB-1 onto a customized friction stir welder. This system rotates the barrel section like a carousel across the friction stir welding head to assemble two barrels together. Last week, just before the last episode was released, I reported on Roscosmos sending a Soyuz with his Progress module to the ISS. Now, hours later, the spacecraft Progress docked to the ISS with 3 metric tons of food, fuel, and supplies. Now, do remember that such a docking is made at 28,000 kilometers per hour or 17.4 thousand miles per hour. That is not an easy job by any means. ULA carried out 2 wet dress rehearsals of his Vulcan Centaur rocket. However, issues occurred on the launch mount, which postponed the launch from Christmas Eve to the 8th of January 2024 instead, because it is the next lunar window. I bet ULA employees are happy about that, so they can have their Christmas. United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket will launch the first certification mission from Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The Certification 1 flight test mission includes 2 payloads. The first one, the Peregrine Lunar Lander and Peregrine Mission 1 for Astrobotic as part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services initiative to deliver science and technology to the lunar surface. The second one is the Celestis Memorial Spaceflight's Deep Space Voyager mission, the Enterprise flight consisting of a container including many people's names. Much of the same was happening at Starbase, such as the Star Factory progressing, except for a mystery concrete building appearing near the Megabay and the orbital launch mount being checked out after integrated flight test number 2 in preparation for his number 3 early next year. It's however interesting to compare both versions of boosters, number 4 on your left and number 10 on your right. Indeed, a reinforcing ring has been enlarged and repositioned down on booster 10. Booster 4 has 3 short composite overpressure vessels to allow reignition of engines, whilst on Booster 10 it was replaced by 2 long sections. On Booster 4 you could see a large box at the bottom. These are hydraulic systems providing the center engine with directionality to guide the rocket. On Booster 10 these have disappeared and were replaced by electric gimballing at each engine. On Booster 10, outside pipes have been brought closer together, and obviously on Booster 10 again, we see the hot staging ring, as it is a recent addition to booster Starship separation. We have also seen the rollout of Starship number 28, the next one expected to fly, with its Christmas decoration. And at Kennedy Space Center, we can see now further tanks and segments of the Starship Tower being loaded onto the barge en route for Boca Chica. We discussed in previous episodes where the tanks will go, but we still do not know exactly where the next tower will be erected. We see some preparations at the Massey site, but we will see soon enough. where it will go. A reusable Chinese rocket prototype called Hyperbola 2 from iSpace took off for its second hop test on the 10th of December. The tests on the prototype will assist the development of rocket reuse technologies. The third hop with sea platform landing is planned for early next year. They will have more hop tests of this little rocket and apply lessons learned to the Hyperbola number 3. iSpace has again been vocal this week and has shown the new plans for his Hyperbola 3, a very similar looking Falcon Heavy, but with 100-ton payload running on 27 Methalox engines called Jiao 2. In comparison, the Falcon Heavy is carrying up to 64 metric tons running on 27 kerosene liquid oxygen Merlin engines. The rest of the Hyperbola 3 seems to be similar to Falcon Heavy with its main and side reusable boosters. We do not know the height nor the diameter of this rocket. Following 3 launch failures of Hyperbola 1 in a row and ground system issues that forced the abortion of Hyperbola 2 hop tests initially planned in 2022, iSpace decided to hold development of Hyperbola 2 and put all resources on developing Hyperbola 3. December 8th, Land Space Technology sent its third rocket, Zhuke-2, from its Launch Complex 96 at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in the Gobi Desert in China. Land Space was the first liquid Methalox oxygen rocket successfully reaching orbit. The payload was 3 satellites operating in low Earth orbit, the Honggu 1 and 2 and the Tianhe 33. December 10th, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation launched a Long March 2D with the 5th mission of remote sensing satellite Yogan 39 from Xichang Satellite Launch Center in China. December 14th, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation launched a Long March 2F/G from its Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in China. The payload was the Chinese reusable space vehicle, a third mission kept secret from the rest of the world. We understand that the test spacecraft will operate in orbit for a period of time before returning to its intended landing site in China. The first spacecraft took off in September 2022 and stayed in orbit for 2 days. The second mission took off in August 2022 and orbited for 276 days. December 15th, Rocket Lab launched an Electron rocket for its mission called the Moon God Awakens. The launches were paused for 2 months after the rocket's second stage failed to reach orbit from its launch complex 1B at Onenuying Station, Mahia Peninsula in New Zealand. Peter Beck, CEO of Rocket Lab, mentioned a few weeks ago that the failures of his second stage was a complex one. He said, however, we believe the findings of the Rocket Lab investigation team overwhelmingly indicated that an electric arc occurred within the power supply system that provides high voltage to the Rutherford engine's motor controllers, shorting the battery pack which provide power to the launch vehicle's upper stage. The payload was the QPS-SAR-5. The QPS-SAR is a series of small, high-resolution X-band SARs, that's a synthetic aperture radar, for Earth observation by the QPS Institute, the to low Earth orbit at 575 km and 42-degree inclination. This satellite is the 6th one from IQPS, with his QPS-SAR-6 launched back in mid-June 2023 by SpaceX Falcon 9 Transport-H mission. On the same day, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation launched a Long March 5 from its Wenchang Space Launch Site in China with on board a Yogan 41 satellite delivered to low Earth orbit. I leave you this week with this amazing image of the Tarantula Nebula, officially known as 30 Doradus, made up from the space telescopes of Chandra X-ray and James Webb from NASA, ESA, and Canadian Space Agency. 30 Doradus is a region of active star formation located in the Large Magellanic Cloud, a neighbor galaxy of the Milky Way. The blue and the purple comes from the X-rays of Chandra, while the red, orange, green, and light blue come from the infrared data of James Webb. 30 Doradus has a chemical composition similar to what most nebulas in our galaxy had several billion years ago. Thank you very much for watching your latest episode of Espace News. I wish you a nice week and happy holidays. Goodbye and see you next week.